So what's up this morning?
Good morning. So today is slightly more of we're having a conversation from the observing point of view, right? And the recent rise in cost of education in Nigeria. Can we actually keep up, right? There's been a lot of complaints lately. We are going back to school right now, right?
School fees.
Yeah, exactly. So school fees, and generally how it has come to this, really. So that's what we're going to be, addressing. We should probably share a little bit here and there on how, parents can maneuver.
But people like Lakon, they don't have issues. He hasn't started paying.
How do you mean? Not yet. But I'm wondering how much I would pay when my children, start going to school.
Do you have a fiancé or are you engaged?
She's on the way.
I'm on a 3 million euro. That's too far. That's far. It's crazy, So that's what we are going to be generally addressing today, and we're just shedding light, from an observer's point of view, rather. So we go straight into it, right? So the question is, how has the cost of higher education in Nigeria, changed over the years, and what are the factors, driving this, really? So we're addressing that first. Tolu, do you have any comeback for that question?
I mean, I think over the years, over the decade, this rising cost has been in place. Like, it's not just now we're experiencing this.
Yeah.
And I think from MBS statistics in July, when the inflation generally was high, we saw like a decline in the education sector.
Yeah.
But we didn't see it as individuals. It's just statistically. Do you understand? So it's just been hard out there for families trying to cope with this cost and moving back to school and all of that.
Well, I feel you, because from my own findings too, the cost of higher education in Nigeria, has increased like drastically in 2024. With some universities, hiking fees by over 200%. For instance, University of Lagos now, they increased their fees for undergraduate, students from, let me confirm that, from 40 to 70,000, right, this year, right? And federal government, local JAR as well, did from 56 to 88,500, right? Thereabouts, and so the factors driving these things really, like you said, they include inflation. I would like to add removal of fuel subsidies, rising cost of operational costs. So definitely, we already know. I mean, a couple of days we were talking about, we're talking about what's it called? Cost of food. For instance, yam was almost 10K, even though it's dropped now. So definitely running these schools have increased. And with a couple of things Ugo said on Follow the Money, the prices of almost everything is going to still come up. So I think parents just need to generally just brace up and, cut down on their excesses, like we always said, and generally just be more cautious or careful towards, school fees.
But again, when we say parents should be cautious of how much they spend, there's also the issue of they're not even making enough money.
Exactly.
For example, if you look at the new minimum wage, that is 70,000 naira, which has not even been implemented yet. Let's say a parent has maybe 2 children in the higher institution and has one in the secondary school. Yeah. Where the federal government is even, the Lagos State government recently said 100,000 naira will be the fee for the model colleges. Let's say a parent has one child in one of the model colleges and has 2 children in the higher institution. How do you expect that parent to pay for, the school fees of these 3 children on 70,000 naira salary?
Yeah. So, I mean, that is a hard card to be dealt, right? But, the good thing is about this is that in some cases, the parents can pay instrumentally, and definitely if you're earning 70,000 naira and you have two kids in those, at that level of education you mentioned, right? You just have to find another source of income, right? You need to find a way to, add up to it.
But sources of income are not. Nigeria is.
Yeah, but
and because an ordinary Nigeria will tell you what other source of income do I want to find.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
Yeah, the thing is in Nigeria, right? A lot of us, we think outside our strengths, right? So there's some people you see them, they say they want to start a business, and okay, so how much capital do you need to raise to start this business? They are telling you 20, 30 million. You don't even have $1 million in your account, right? You're looking to start a business worth 30 million, right? Definitely raising the funds is going to be difficult. But there are a couple of other things you can do to raise, or other businesses you can do in the meantime to raise money for that other business that costs you 30 million capital to raise, right? So for instance, like let me go down to like selling pure water, for instance, right?
Okay.
So if you're selling pure water, bags of pure water, and you push to supply, let's say, 50,000 bags, do you understand? Are you going to say that money is small? Do you understand? I can't work out the figures, but if you're supplying a large amount, right, you definitely get you get your money's worth in return, right? So I think most people always want to go the bigger route when they actually can't do it at that moment, So I think it's a matter of understanding your strengths and taking advantage of it, right? There are a lot of things you can do right now. You can be selling whatever it is and market through your phone these days. It's obviously easier said than done, but nothing good comes easy.
I know that, we talked about retirement and all of that, and because of the rising cost of things, inflation, education, and all of that, parents are like dipping from their retirement savings, they're dipping from loans, they're cutting down costs and all of that. I also think that they should use all the schools' capacity. For example, there are schools that does like programs, extracurriculum activities whereby they teach their kids some extracurriculum activities like tech related stuff. If you make sure your kids are attending such things at an early stage, you know that okay, when they come out they have more like capacity to tackle the outside world, so that you don't keep spending all your money on how to keep up with their educational system, whereby they already have access to certain skills that they can use when they come out. So you should also try and invest in extracurriculum and also hand skills. Like during their holidays, they shouldn't just sit down at home.
Yeah, they should be earning money.
They should learn. They should go and learn how to make hair. They should know how to make things that people are doing nowadays. They should know how to do it as well. If your kids are already in that age range and all of that.
Yeah, true. And I mean, with being blunt, if you know you can't afford it, then you should consider home tutoring, right?
Home tutoring.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really encourage it in this part of the world.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, but if you're down bad, I mean, is that difficult for you? Because it's definitely going to be cheaper, to have a home tutor. Do you understand? And you try and balance out your child's social life, ensure that your child also mingles with other kids, after school hours as well. And I mean, that's if it's way beyond your strengths, right? It's something you can also consider. But I'm also even going to flip it, right? Are these fees even worth it? These schools that are charging these big fees, are they even worth it? Like in the sense that almost every day I have nieces, and nephews. Like every other day, there's one thing. There's cultural day. They're telling you to buy a cultural clothes or whatever it's called for. And here, 150, 200. Do you understand? You've not even dealt with the school fees yet, right? They're telling you. Some schools they tell you they have e-books, right? But yet you still end up paying for the exercise, the textbooks themselves, So, and I mean, I'm not saying kids, but
The
You don't even see
They
the.
need to find source of it. They are going to pay their staff, man.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have
but
to pay, and there are other things they need to run. They have to.
Well,
fund
there
it.
are also conversations surrounding some of these private schools who do not pay their staffs that well.
exactly.
They collect so much money from the parents as school fees, but you don't even settle your teachers that well.
Yeah.
So what is the point of that money that you're collecting?
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, they collect so much money from people. I heard recently a kindergarten pupil that was paying as much as 350,000 naira.
Exactly.
In this
And
Lagos.
they're probably more expensive schools.
Yeah, of course.
At
I'm like
crèche level.
when I was in kindergarten till I finished secondary school, I didn't pay that much money.
Do you understand? Yeah.
So
And now
it's
crazy.
mind blowing.
You know, you see a kid that
They have their target audience, please.
who has whose target
They have
audience.
their target.
That's the
audience.
problem
You
with
need
this
to go to
country.
the one that
This
you
target
can
audience.
afford.
Even the one that you can afford, they're increasing it.
They
by
will increase
200%.
because
Do
they're
you
saying, oh, there are other schools that are increasing the money and people are paying. So I don't know. I feel like the government should probably come and regulate
the probably
private
need to
schools as
regulate.
well.
Then obviously the school loans and all those programs, I think they should enforce it well. Like Tolu was giving me some numbers. I don't know. You can find that out, bring that out for us. Like because at the end of the day, parents are being is the right word forced, but generally compelled, to pay that high. Are they even getting
Value for
the
the
value
money.
for the money? Because there was a kid that I met in a primary school, yeah, and we're talking about colors. So I was just engaging the boy, and he goes, "Purple, purple," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Purple, purple." What do you mean? You understand? And he pulls out the color. What
That's
diction? Purple. P-U-R-P-L-E, and they say purple, purple. I'm like, what? Yeah, what you're pronouncing is P-E-P-P-L-E, right? Purple. But I mean, it comes back with that, and you get. Like, what am I paying you for?
There is always the argument that they're teaching them diction and phonetics and phonics, which I mean I can for the syllabus that they have now, especially the younger ones. I can see how some of the schools have like really improved from what they taught us, at least what they taught me when I was back then in secondary or primary school. I can see it, but does it, equate the amount of money that they collect? That's the question. That's the question. But how can we, how can the government and as well, Nigerians make education more accessible and affordable to, students and parents who do not have as much money, but they still want their kids to go to good schools, and because we know that education is very important in the world today. It's very, very important. So there is no two ways about it. People want to go to school, but it's not accessible or affordable. How can we ensure that this, happens in Nigeria?
I think. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I think they should put in more scholarship options around, whereby I know that it's quite competitive to get into the scholarship scheme and all of that. But I think if more people come together to like I remember growing up with these like cowbell competitions and all of that, just to gain scholarship into certain level, either tertiary or the university and all of that. So I think the government too and private sector should like put in more scholarship out there for students who are actually brilliant and they can actually push out this.
Yeah, I feel
You get
you.
what
I
I'm
get.
saying?
But I mean, to add to what you said, I think, our government needs to be more cautious, right, on making education more accessible, right? Like several reforms are necessary, definitely, which include the likes of what you just said, scholarships, and the government also needs to fund public universities more. They need to be more intentional, generally towards that. And I also think they need strict restrictions on private schools and their school fees, and they need to find a way to control that environment of the educational sector as well. Additionally, they should also go for policies aimed at subsidizing transportation, accommodation for students, it can also reduce the financial burden. On families as well. Because without such interventions, the gap between the wealthy and low income and income students, right, will continue to widen. And like you said, I just got something off the top of my head from what you just said now. Like, when you mentioned the cowbell, right? And when I was in school, they had this federal government college sports or something, Fed-Call or something. Did you?
Fed-Call.
Fed-Call or so, yeah. I don't really hear much about it, but I think if the government can also invest in, the physical welfare of children, so they invest more in like sports tournaments, so they get to be, prepared to be professional sports athletes, that can also help in their career.
Yeah, if we can
get rewards from
exactly.
the universities. If you win this prize, you get. If you win this tournament, you get this certain prize. So, and also likewise, encourage children, to start working. Right? Not a white collar job or a serious, but generally. Try to earn money with their skills and just encourage them to, teach them to be more financially literate and independent as well. And I think if you do that, it will also go a long way, to reducing the burden of the parents. Because right now it's really crazy. We all know the cost of fuel, what the fuel is right now. Yeah.
Students are dropping out.
Yeah,
from school.
Even students that travel, like with the Jumper syndrome, right? A lot of people quite some few people that traveled, right, for school are actually back because of the exchange rate. Parents can't even afford it anymore. You understand? So I think, we should just try and always just think ahead, and definitely the parents can't really do as much. But we'll plead for these schools to give the parents the value for their money. If at all, they have to pay that much, at least give them value for the money, as against them just paying randomly for so many things. It's really crazy out there right now. Light, almost everybody feels like it's like on band A now. Like, do you understand? Having kids at home, so it's endless. There are endless responsibilities for parents right now. So,
right.
We're just trying to share that what's the word? I'm caught short. We're just trying to share that sentiment with them, really. And, with that, we hope we've touched on, pieces of concern, and, we look forward to hearing from you guys next week, where we are. You can catch up, with the show on Spotify and YouTube. Spotify, if you are purely an audio person, then definitely Spotify. But if you also want to watch the video and just get a feel of our energy while we're talking, you definitely catch up on YouTube. We also have other shows. Follow the Money Brief. Just generally follow us on our metrics, and definitely you get your notifications across board. Thank you guys, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.